Let's jump right into this. Imagine being the absolute rank #1 player on Earth, right? You sacrifice literally everything to slay the final world boss, only to get frozen alive for 25 years. And when you finally break out of the ice, you discover the rest of humanity is so pathetic, they haven't cleared a single dungeon floor since you left? Welcome to this explainer, where we're going to break down one of the most explosive returns in gaming history. Today, we're tracking the reawakening of the legendary Spectre. So we start right in the present day. The judges at this beginner player admission test, they are completely done. It's been a long, exhausting day of candidates, and not a single one has passed. And then applicant number 75 walks in. The massive question hovering over this entire arena is obvious. Who is this guy? Because to the judges up in the observation booth, this tiny silhouette standing in the middle of a giant empty arena, well, he looks like a total joke, a completely delusional rookie. But they have absolutely no idea they are looking at the greatest player in history. Okay, let's dive into this ridiculous inventory. The examiner signals the start, basically losing his mind, because applicant 75 walked into a standard entry exam carrying a walking armory. We're talking a glaive, a bow, a full quiver, throwing knives, a dagger, and a longsword. He just stands there, totally silent, and instantly, 20 vicious goblins materialize out of thin air, snarling and charging him from every direction. Now, any normal rookie would completely panic being swarmed by 20 monsters at once. But our guy, he just calmly counts them, notes they look a lot realer up close, and then he smiles. He delivers this incredibly cold one-liner. No matter how well they imitate the real ones, they're nothing. His utter lack of panic is staggering. To him, these digital imitations are literally just paper targets. What follows is an absolute masterclass of slaughter. With just a single savage spin of his glaive, the entire first wave is shredded midair, bursting into blue data cubes before they can even process their own deaths. The remaining monsters kind of hesitate, but the battlefield is already under his absolute control. Without even turning around, his hand blurs to his belt. 3 throwing knives leave his grip in a flash of crimson energy, pinning the running goblins directly to the stone floor. He casually draws his bow, channeling the flawless technique of the ancient marksman masters. The arrows rip through the air at supersonic speeds, leaving actual sonic booms behind them. The final surviving monsters realize, there is no running away. Cornered, they leap at him all at once, aiming for a desperate kill. He calmly steps into their path, drags his sword across the floor, trailing these brilliant sparks, and with one singular blinding slash, cuts the air. Everything around him drops instantly, a clean sweep in under 60 seconds. But as the adrenaline fades, notice this fascinating contrast. His physical level 1 body is violently trembling. He realizes a crucial lesson here. A god-tier mindset means nothing if your physical foundation can't support the weight of your own ambition. Up in the booth, the paralyzed judges can only whisper in awe as they pass him with an unprecedented perfect score. Section 25 years ago. The Frost Queen's Curse. So every single judge is asking the exact same thing. Who is this guy? Well, to understand exactly how a level 1 rookie possesses the battle IQ of a literal god, we have to travel back in time. 25 years ago, humanity faced its final cataclysmic dungeon in Antarctica. And at the peak of that frozen hell stood the world's greatest vanguard, a player known as Spectre, real name Sayo Junho. His 4 legendary squad mates had actually handed their lives over to him on the lower floors, so he could climb the stairs alone to face a calamity-level monster. A monster capable of freezing entire oceans with a single snap of her fingers. The sheer scale of this battle was reality-breaking. She stood over the bodies of the world's elite players, actively mocking our protagonist for arriving alone. She thought his resolve was broken, but he wasn't there to talk. They collided midair at speeds that literally shattered the sound barrier. The Frost Queen conjured massive blades of pure black ice, and Juno countered with pure, unadulterated sword kinetic energy. In one final, blinding exchange, a black flash severed the freezing silence, and the Frost Queen dropped to her knees, defeated. But that victory came with a tragic cost. As her core shattered, Juno moved in to finish it, but her residual magic manifested as a final, spiteful curse. Glacial energy crawled up his arms, his neck, and his face. He received a system message stating he was absorbing the Frost Queen's core and would stay in a forced hibernation state until it was fully absorbed. That frozen darkness was the very last thing he saw for over 2 decades. Moving on to the awakening of a level 1 god. Flash forward 25 years to the modern era, the year 2024. The world has entirely moved on. In a historic museum dedicated to the Grand War, the frozen statues of the 5 legendary heroes, including Spectre and his 4 friends, are kept behind glass like relics of a completely forgotten age. Until an incredible sequence of events kicks off. The RPG mechanics of his world suddenly reactivate. A notification chimes. The absorption of the Frost Queen's core finally hits 100%. This triggers an absolute system anomaly, unlocking a brand new X-rank Forbidden Frost skill for Junho. The ice explodes, the museum glass shatters into a million pieces, and the legendary Spectre steps out of the ice and back into the new world. Section Humanity's Lost Decades. The news detonates globally within hours. The legend has awakened. But as Junho sits in his hospital bed, scrolling through the current player database like a grandpa who just discovered the internet, the global euphoria meets a crushing reality. It's a stark lesson in the extreme danger of resting on your laurels. The crucial, humiliating detail is that massive number 1. When he reunites with his old friend Shimuk, who is now the bald president of the Player Association, by the way, Juno asks about the dimensional elevator that opened after they killed the Frost Queen. He assumes humanity must be on floor 7 or 8 by now. But Shimuk drops the ultimate punchline. In the 25 years he was asleep, humanity has managed to clear only a single floor. Just one. And why are they stuck? Well, the 3rd floor is completely blocked by a sea of boiling lava. They searched for decades for an alter key to cool it down, a key that specifically requires the Frost Queen's core. And here is the brilliant plot twist. Juno goes completely quiet because he knows exactly where that core is. It's not out in the world somewhere, it's currently resting inside his own body, fused directly to his soul. Later on, Junho sneaks back into the museum and touches the ice, trapping his 4 friends. The system tells him his new Frost skill can actually free them, but his magic stat, which reset to level 1 after his hibernation, is simply too low. So, the strategic plan writes itself, proving the universal power of breaking down an impossible goal into actionable steps. First, he must enter the Dimensional Tower at level 1. Second, farm experience by clearing incomplete gates to boost his reset magic stat. And finally, use his Frost skill to melt the ice and bring his comrades home.
But why did he have to take that public admission test we saw at the very beginning? Well, it's because of the real threat out there. To make matters worse, during his 25-year absence, corrupt underworld guilds, criminal players, and literal demons built their fortunes. These entities are still obsessed with hunting down his old identity to secure their power. If he just announced who he was while stuck at level 1, he'd be killed immediately. He had to build a brand new identity, Applicant 75, So Junho, and start from absolute zero so he could safely hunt them before they could hunt him.
And that leaves us with this final, thrilling question. Now that the world's greatest vanguard is back at level 1, armed with the Frost Queen's powers and 25 years of pent-up battle IQ, who will survive his climb to the top? The demons think they rule this era, but they have absolutely no idea that the ultimate apex predator has just re-entered the game. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Keep your eyes peeled, because the legend of the Spectre is just getting started all over again.